evening, folks, and welcome to Cooking with Dan Leslie. My name is Janet Reposardi. I'll be your host this evening with Dan in his kitchen. Dan is a little punchy today.
I am.
We're trying
really
to talk kind of loud. I hope you can hear us because it's
Right.
hot in his kitchen. The blowers are still on.
I know it is. It's still, Labor Day has just passed, right?
Yes.
But yeah, these are Jersey tomatoes here. And what I was going to do is make a sauce that had a tomato base with some garlic and oil and hopefully add a few ingredients to it, like basil, and there's a ton of basil out there. And we're going to do a pesto sauce, too, to possibly give you an idea of what to do with that. But I guess to get us started, what I want to do first for these tomatoes, you can make a fast sauce with these, but the trick is getting the skin off the tomato. Take a bunch of the seeds out. You don't have to go crazy getting every bit of the seeds and the, what do you call the loose material that holds the seed together, I guess. We're going to get that out of there. But
I don't bother taking those seeds out.
Yeah, you can, a few. We'll take a few out.
Okay.
And we're going to put them in this boiling water for about 30 seconds, and it's going to cause, you know, the skin to separate from the meat of the tomato. And what we're going to do is shock them in that cold ice water we have back there. Take the skin off, and we'll prepare a sauce with it. I wanted to try to do this. This could blow up in my face, but I wanted to also get beautiful. I wanted to get some eggplant. I was going to cut some thick pieces of eggplant, sear them in the pan here. These things absorb. I wonder if I should flour them. That might be
really
a smart.
Absorb oil.
Yeah, maybe I'm going to flour the eggplant, and then I'm going to sear it in the pan and finish it, roast it. I'm going to cut them real thick, and hopefully I'm going to be able to toss this roasted eggplant in with the tomatoes and the olive oil. We're not even sure what we're going to put in this dish here, but it's going to be one of these harvest type of dishes. Got a little flour over here, and I guess that's what we're going to do with the eggplant. Because the last time I did it without the flour, I'm telling you, it was, I couldn't believe it. It was the oil, it was incredible. It was incredible. I think these have been in here long enough. In fact, I think I put them in there a little too long.
Really, that's quick. You just really lightly blanch them, and that's oh, you can see the skin is
wants to come
peeling.
off here already.
Right.
We'll get rid of this water over here, and there we go. All right, I'm getting this pan hot. Yeah, could you do that every couple seconds? We'll move them around a little bit.
There you go.
Yeah, we didn't want to cook the tomato at all. We're going to do that in the pan. And while the pan is getting hot, I've got some olive oil here in my baby baba. And we have a couple ripe eggplant. I guess I'll cut the end off. I'll nip the end off, right? We're not going to use that.
Good idea.
We'll look for any rotten spots. I'm going to cut some big cuts like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is thick.
A couple big cuts here.
Okay.
See how that works out. I'll do 4 pieces. Like that. Put this over here. I don't think I'm going to add any egg to it. I think we'll just put the oil in the pan, flour the eggplant, sear them in there, throw them in the oven, and see what happens. Hopefully it won't take a year and a day. But if we get to it, I want to make this salmon dish. The main thing I wanted to show our viewers is the little crust that the flour would make around it. I'm going to cook it in a little brown butter.
Ooh.
Yeah, Labor Day didn't do too much. Laid low. I'm going to keep the skin on the eggplant. I'm going to remove it later, but this stuff can get a little brittle, and I didn't want it falling apart on me.
A little oil.
Yeah, I'm going to try to use as little oil as possible. I'm using some olive oil. I want to get the flavor on there.
Okay.
It's amazing, though. I can't believe this stuff sucks up the oil like that. Maybe this flour will help us out. Get this real hot. Maybe a little pan I could put this in the oven with. A little mini roaster.
So you're really just going to sear this?
Right. I want to get this in and out if I can.
Okay.
Get this hot as I possibly can. We got a pretty good flame here. take some of the flour off here anyway. Is that a good idea? Just leave all the flour on, right? Got to create the flour wall here. And it's the eggplant, I think, is thick enough that it's not going to affect it, maybe. So we'll see what happens. This may be the last time we try flouring it. Got to be very careful here. I should be putting this in with a fork. All right. So we'll just sear this on both sides.
That'll give it a nice little golden touch too, which is nice.
Yeah, probably.
Tasty that way.
How's that doing with the oil? Oh, there, it's not doing badly.
No,
I
not
swear, if I
doing
put
badly at
these
all.
in by themselves, it'd be all gone already. We'll cook it a little bit. We'll brown them on both sides, throw them in the oven. How are these tomatoes doing? These tomatoes. This is nothing, you know, just get a little, you don't need the ice in the water. You basically need the,
Wow.
just cold
look at
water.
How easy that is.
right, these
Beautiful.
Jersey tomatoes seem to be very easy to work with. Just take the skin off like that. All right, now where do we go from here?
You're gonna
I don't generally
Cut them,
do this.
dice
Hopefully
them?
I'm not going to, yeah, I'm going to try to cut them in pieces like that.
Good.
I'm just winging this dish. I don't exactly do this on a regular basis. I think we can leave these in for a little while. I'm amazed at the difference between the, if we did, I'd need 3 times the oil by now if we didn't
You're
flour
right.
this eggplant. I'm telling you, it
That'd
just
be
absorbs it.
absorbed.
And then you know what, it gives it back up when you're, if you roast it and stuff. It just gets the whole dish very oily. So far we're going to be looking to do this the same way next time, if it comes out of the oven okay. I do have this on full, right? Now, there, it's starting to brown a little bit, right?
Oh
It's
yeah.
starting to come up good. Yeah, we'll turn
They're
them
just,
over.
oh yeah, they're there.
Getting golden.
Mm-hmm.
All right, be ready in a second. So let's see what the tomatoes are going to do. I guess I'll take the stem out of here. Take that, put that there.
Mm-hmm.
I've got some asparagus hanging around, some mushrooms. Could put a little vinegar there. Have any vinegar hanging around over there? Yes, I do. I'll grab that before I forget about it.
Ah, I was wondering where you saw that vinegar.
Put a little vinegar up here. All right, so I guess I'll cut them in half a couple times. Guess these are peaking right now. The tomatoes and the but when's the corn is, it's been happening a little bit, right? The corn now, it's early September, it's getting that sweet corn
Yeah,
out.
the corn is.
Yeah, I don't do much
Nice.
with that. I should get a little dish in here with the corn. It's just, I'm not the, you know, it just isn't really our style to be getting the old cob in here and dipping it in butter and. All right, there's the eggplant. We browned it on both sides, and hopefully it won't take a year and a day in the oven here. Okay, got a little oven. I've got this on about 400 degrees, and we'll check on it sooner or later.
Okay. Later.
All right. So what do we do now? I guess we'll finish the tomatoes, and maybe by the time we're done with that, the eggplant will be somewhere, because there's just no way you can eat the eggplant raw, right?
No.
Forget it.
No.
Forget it. And God forbid there's a rotten spot in there and you eat that raw. Forget it. It's the worst. It's the worst. All right, I'm going to work some of the seeds out of the tomato here. I'm not going to go crazy. Take most of them. All right, I'm going to cut these up in a few pieces. And when we do put these in the pan, we're not going to you know, we're going to cook them and not go crazy. It's not going to be your conventional marinara sauce here. Basically, it'll be an Italian-style primavera, which is an Italian word anyway, right?
I sure hope so. At least I grew up that way.
I mean, an oil base, I should say, an oil base. I think it's Spanish is also primavera.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah. A lot of water on the tomatoes now. These, I'm going to cut them larger because I'm going to anticipate that they're going to break down a little bit. I'm anticipating, rather. Hope that eggplant cooks rapidly.
And now, are we sautéing these, or what are we doing with these?
I was going to put some garlic in the pan, a little slivered garlic with some oil.
Okay.
And this dish will be a success if I can bruise the eggplant and get this to the plate without making it too oily. I want to be very careful of that. So we'll see how that works out. Let's clean this up a little bit here. But there's still some seeds, and there's still a little bit of the gooky stuff that holds the seeds. I'll call it that. But we got the majority of it out. So let's see. I don't think the eggplant is ready yet, so maybe we could do our pesto or that salmon dish.
Okay.
Oh, it's moving along pretty well, though.
Really? Let's take a look. Ooh.
Yeah, they're sizzling. Not quite there, though, so we'll try the pesto dish. And
now, should they be soft on the inside?
yeah, I'm just
Little
doing that
softer
thing
than
that,
that.
yeah.
Okay.
In fact, what I'm going to do here is, just so I don't completely blow it, I'm turning the oven off and letting them finish like that. Cooked a little linguine off for it. All right, I guess we'll do the pesto first. The first thing, my wife likes pesto. My wife Rosemary, and I told her what I thought about that. I told her hers was lousy. But what I'm going to do is get this bowl hot. I feel the key to some of these herbs and using some of these herbs is not having them on the flame, right? Not to bruise them. So what I'm going to attempt to do here is get the pasta very hot, the bowl very hot, have this, we made some pesto, I'll go over that in a second with you, and we want to get this maybe down to room temperature, that sort of thing. So we can, I don't want to put the oil and the basil on a flame to get that hot. I'd rather that was room temperature and everything else, including the plate, was hot. So we're going to give this a twirl here, because all of a sudden, you know, you hit the flame with that basil, it just gets bruised, it gets bitter,
Yes.
it's not sweet. All right, what we did here is I have a few basil leaves left over. They aren't looking terrific. I'm going to put them into the dish with the tomatoes. But you can make some pesto with people, I guess the main recipe we hear about is the one with the pine pignoli nuts.
The pignoli nuts.
The ones that cost about $20 million a pound, right? And then you hear people, they grind them up with it, and or the old walnuts. People use walnuts, and this particular recipe is going to have no nuts in it, only because I need to use the pesto different ways. But basically, you can get a nice pesto using a food processor or a blender. I guess they used to describe using a mortar and pestle, like the chemist did use, and you grind it up like that. Yeah. So, you can do anything you'd like, but we used a food processor, and we added some olive oil and garlic to this basil leaves, and we've got this little mishmash we put in a squirt bottle. So that's what we're going to use. The main thing is it smells sweet, and it's green, and it's fun. I better check that eggplant,
sure.
right?
Yeah.
Sorry about
You're
that.
right. Yeah.
It feels pretty tender.
Good.
Hopefully it's tender enough, and hopefully when I put it into the dish, it won't just totally break up. Okay, well, that cools down. We'll let the eggplant rest a little bit, and we'll make this pesto dish. We'll continue with that.
Okay.
All right,
Another pot of water?
Right, we got our boiling water for the pasta. We have our pot in the other water. I mean, to get you can get that bowl hot by putting it into the oven, running hot water on it. You can put it in your radiator. The main thing is that it's not cold, okay? Because this is something you can almost eat at room temperature. It's not going to be Hot, hot. Oh, crazy hot, which is what I like to say. All right, this is nice, light linguine, very wiry, al dente. This was like wire when I cooked it off before. Okay, I think we got enough to get the idea. All right, so I want to finish this all in one shot. All right, we're going to put this into boiling water, rolling boiling water. We'll get our bowl over here and get it ready. Nice and hot, and to finish it, it's pretty simple. So the main thing is that everything's nice and hot. I think we got this where we want it. Get most of the water off it. All right, so we're going to put our pasta, whatever type you decide to use, we're going to put that into the bowl. I'm going to add a little salt and pepper to start. Going to add a little extra virgin olive oil. And add a little Parmesan cheese. You can always shave a little more on if you'd like. This is nice Parmesan, not the Romano. It's a little sharper than I prefer to use for a dish like this. And we're going to, you could have it in a bowl or something. I've got it in this squirt bottle. We're going to put this green basil pesto in there. I'm going to add it twice just to make sure I don't mess up at all here. But meanwhile, everything's nice and hot here.
What an aroma.
Yeah, isn't it?
Oh, that is nice.
I think I'm going to add I'm going to add a little more of everything, except for the salt and the pepper. We can add that later also. Some of us like a little bit of basil. Other people can't get enough of it. I'm definitely going to need, I think I'm going to put more basil and more...
more pesto.
Yeah, more pesto and more
Gotta
oil.
put more of that in there.
I think the cheese is eating up the oil here. I just didn't want to blow another dish on camera here. So we're adding this gradually, and I think we got it where we want it. That's all we'll do. I'll get a little plate here. I don't have much of a garnish. We're going to slide that out. It's quite a heap and help in there, but the main thing is the basil is still sweet smelling. We didn't bruise it, and the dish is hot. You want to eat this kind of quickly. You don't want to sit in there cooling off, and there we have it. I guess I could put a little basil leaf on as a garnish, right? Maybe I'll garnish it with a little paprika around. The heck with it. We'll just go plain here today. I don't want to add anything more to that, but that's a basic linguine with basil pesto. Well, I guess we're going to wheel our little garlic and oil primavera combination situation. So what we're going to do is get a pan hot.
Dying to see what you're going to do with
I
those
have no idea what I'm going to do here. But we got our eggplant. It's still hot. And I'm going to take some garlic and sliver it. We went over that on our last show. I love it slivered like this in dishes like this. I like to leave it right there in the pan. So I think the garlic and the tomatoes are going to be the dominant feature here. I was going to add some mushroom and asparagus also. I don't know if that's going to be overkill or what, but we're going to give it a shot. I'm going to put a little olive oil. This is going to be the base of the dish. This is going to be in the dish, so I'm going to use a nice olive oil here. I think I could have had the pan a little less hot. I don't want to bruise this garlic. Shouldn't be too bad. So we're going to sear that garlic up, and I'm going to take it out of the pan and then work the mushrooms and the
asparagus.
And the tomatoes mainly.
tomatoes.
I par cooked the asparagus. I cheated. I had that. I did that ahead of time.
Okay.
And I guess what I can do is this is going to happen pretty quickly. We have the linguine right here. I'm just going to do it again with linguine, just to give you the idea of the dish. It's sitting right here. I can use it. A little more in there, right? Dragging it across the oven. Get in there. All right. Careful bringing this garlic along this rapidly. This can turn on you very quickly.
It's just about there.
Yeah.
Mm.
Nice and golden. We're going to flavor the dish with it. Yeah, it's happening.
There it is. Were they live? Dan, just jumping out of that pan.
That's right. All right, now I'm going to take the garlic out. I've got the garlic right where I want it. So I'm going to take it out of the pan. Just settle it over there. Oops. All right, now we got our hot garlic flavored oil. Hopefully that isn't too much for the dish. I'm going to add a couple of mushrooms. Got the asparagus cooked off, like I said. We'll brown these in there. Get them going. I'll just get them started. When I turn them over, I'll add the tomatoes to the dish. You know, you can see that if we left the garlic in, it'd be burning right now. Just like you see, there's a couple little pieces right there. All right, now we'll try our tomatoes. Our Joycey tomatoes. Whoa!
Wow.
Thought that might happen. All right, we're going to cook them down a little bit to kind of get them cooked and to get them where, you know, they're halfway between eating a raw fresh tomato and, you know, maybe that canned variety you would make a marinara out of. In the meantime, while they're cooking, I'm going to try to prepare a piece of eggplant. The eggplant is falling apart. See if I can't get the skin off quickly. And I can, yes, look at this.
Wow.
I think we're going to go with 2 pieces of eggplant for this dish. What do you think? That should be all right, right? Try 2. Boy, I can smell that garlic, huh?
Mm. I don't believe that the skin is coming off that quickly.
Right,
That
right,
is really
right.
So nice.
Still is very hot, this eggplant. Oh, yeah, this is good. Get them in nice bite-sized pieces. I think we're going to have to add this at the end. I think if I put this in now, it's going to just, you know, disintegrate. All right. We got it going here. We got it going.
Okay.
What else am I going to add? I'll leave that asparagus there to the end. I'm not sure if we're going to use that or not. Cook these tomatoes through.
That looks
Might
good.
have to give it another shot of oil. And this is the type of dish where we take the Parmesan cheese and if you want some, maybe shave it on the top. I might need a speck more oil though. All right, let's try to put this together. We got some eggplant here. Gonna toss that in. I gotta be gentle with this. Like you can see that
yeah.
eggplant wants to come apart. But it's cooked, it's good. Gonna add a little salt and pepper. Add a few basil leaves here and stir them in at the end. I think that's all the green I want. I think I'm going to leave the asparagus out this time around. You know, it looks like we have a lot of stuff in here. You know, there's a lot going on with this dish. I don't think we need any more of the eggplant in there. I'll save that for the top.
And that basil wilts so quickly. You have to put it in.
Right. And it looks like we may need a little more oil. And you know what else? I'm going to give a little touch of this balsamic here, just to give it a little zippity-doo-dah.
Great.
And you can always add more of that if you'd like. All right, I'll get a little plate here. I'm not going to chance tossing this this dish around. So what I'm going to do is just get the linguine to the plate. It's clinging a little bit, but that's all right. I just want to make sure that there's no water in it. There's some pasta there. And here's our dish. I'll just settle this right over. fresh out of the garden. And there we have it. Little eggplant, tomato, mushroom. Oh, you know what I didn't add? And I can use it as a garnish. I forgot to put it back in. We can just put it right over the top. Some nice crunchy brown garlic. Nice crispy garlic right on the top. And we'll top it all off with a little basil leaf. And there it is. Fresh tomato eggplant. We don't have a name for it, boy, but I'll tell you, that's a nice looking dish, wouldn't you say?
Oh, it's beautiful.
If I do say so myself.
Well, thanks, folks, for joining us in the dining room where we're going to wrap up, and Dan's going to let you know what we did with pesto and basil today.
Right. Our little bounty of the garden. But we did our linguine with the basil pesto. Sans, walnuts, or pine nuts. You can add, and you know, you could add some, maybe if you cook some chicken off ahead of time, a little shrimp, you
good
could
idea.
toss that in there. It'd be very good. This is just a basic basil dish. It's very good, and you could shave a little more Parmesan. We also did our roasted garlic and fresh garden tomato and mushroom with olive oil, garlic, and linguine. We did have a couple mushrooms in there. We finished it with the basil leaves at the end. I like that roasted garlic, though.
I
mean,
too.
and
It's a nice
also
touch
the
up it
eggplant.
on the top.
Right. Yeah, the crunchy garlic and that roasted eggplant. I like that touch.
Okay, well, thanks, folks, for joining us again this evening on Cooking with Dan Luzzi. We'll see you again next week.